Tom needs.
Billy can win! Billy can win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome to the show. If you are on our video stream, which is pretty much every platform these days, Twitter, I still call it Twitter, just like I call it Riverport and everything else. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Where else are we, Drew? What did I miss?
I think you got it.
I got them all. We have video stream going. I want to turn this lamp on behind me. Hold on. There. See, it looks cool, doesn't it? The lamp is on behind me. As you can see behind me, the downtown St. Louis looks nice. But really what I want to point your attention to on this video stream is Drew Young looking exactly like the pitcher that he has placed right behind him. You guys have the same beard. You have the same color shirt, I think, pretty close. And aside from wearing a blue hat and you have a white front of the hat, it's a similar look. So just saying, you guys have the same beard. Do you not?
We do.
I think you do. I'm talking about Andrew Kittredge, of course, the new reliever that the Cardinals picked up for Richie Palacios. I think it's a nice deal for the Cardinals. You know, they had a log jam in the outfield. Richie Palacios is somebody that they were going to try as a fourth or fifth outfielder, but we all know that Tyler O'Neill was traded because of too many people in the outfield, and now Palacios, who might go on to be the starter for the Rays. I don't know. I mean, he's going to try out to be such, but I think that they had to add another arm to the bullpen, and they did so in Kittredge. I don't know that they're finished, but Kittredge provides a pretty nice reliever for them. I mean, he's coming off Tommy John surgery, so typically when you come off that surgery and you attach that ligament, you do have some time. It takes some time to get back, but when you do, typically you are stronger. And hopefully that is the case with Kittredge. He is a strong pitcher for this Rays team. He actually was good in the playoffs last year. He was good for a stretch last year coming off of Tommy John surgery. He missed 22. But in 23, some promising returns for someone that, by the way, in 2021 was an all-star. So just go back. You might not follow the American League that closely, but in the AL East, he had a very good year for the Rays in 2021 and pitched in the playoffs last year for them. I think this is a nice addition. Kittredge throws hard. His sinker is about 95, so that's a good hard sinker that drops in the zone and can get swings and misses. Has a nice slider that hits in the upper 80s that can get swings and misses. That's what the Cardinals needed. You can't have ground ball pitchers anymore in bulk. The Cardinals used to be that way. They used to want to have as many ground ball pitchers as they could get because they had all these great infielders that could gobble the ball up and turn double plays and get you out of the inning. Well, things are a little different today with your inability to shift. And that has changed things a little bit. Those ground balls now can sneak through for hits and become very annoying and very frustrating. And it's a lot easier when you can just record the K and get a punch out. So that's what the Cardinals are trying to do. Not overwhelm you with strikeout pitchers, but they want to gain more. And they think they have done that with Kittredge here, and hopefully they can continue to improve their bullpen in that fashion. I think the rotation, I said it last week, it was like filling up a glass of water. They did what they had to do. The Cardinals fans want a little more. They want a full meal. They want some fun, and they want a chance to go win a world championship. And I think the Cardinals fans understand the task at hand was to add innings. They did that with Lance Lynn, then Kyle Gibson, then Sonny Gray. The fans, and I understand this, they want more sizzle in the rotation. I think the Cardinals are still poking around there to see what they can do, and we'll see how this turns out. But with that 5-man rotation, it's not bad. I mean, if I were to guess how it would go, Sonny Gray, Miles Mikolas, Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, Steven Matz, something like that. Maybe Lynn in front of Gibson. But that would be the 5. That's great. Beyond the 5, what do you have? And that's the question, and that's the danger that you ran into last year, actually, when Wainwright went out. Now what do you do? They go to Jake Woodford. That didn't work. Dakota Hudson, he's fine, but they had to find – they ended up not tendering either of those guys. They have to find a good they have to find a deeper rotation. I don't think they can ride with the 5. And yeah, it'd be great to add an ace. If they can go swing a deal for Dylan Cease, that's great. But you have to go find the right mix of prospects to offer the White Sox for him. Everybody's going after Cease, and some teams are closer than others because they're more willing to give up prospects. So that's a tough situation to be in if you're the Cardinals, in my opinion. But I know the fans aren't going to stand for that either. I mean, they want action, they want movement. They're tired of getting bounced in the postseason. They're tired of potentially missing the postseason. And last year they were just flat out tired. 20 games under 500 doesn't cut it. It was a disaster. So we'll see how it turns out. We are going to talk to John Mozeliak about all that at 11:30 and kind of get some feelings on where this team is headed. I do think position-wise they're in good shape. I think the bullpen definitely improved with Kittredge, as I mentioned, and I think the rotation is back above water and now has an opportunity for this team to be good. Are they good enough to win the division? I think that they are. I think it will be a tough run in the division, but I think that they are. The question is, are they good enough to go win the World Series? As it stands right now, the jury is out, and the fans are a little anxious. We'll just put it mildly. So that's where we are in baseball. Let me get into a couple of things that are happening around sports, and then we're going to unveil this really good guest list today. So number one on my list is very, very good win for the Blues. They won yesterday 2-1 in a shootout over the Carolina Hurricanes. I said it early in the year. This team is going to go as Jordan Binnington goes. He is the face of the franchise. And if he can get hot, he will carry this team to great heights. They need to be better defensively. Yes. They need to have better play out of Kyrou. Sure. You can point to a million things, but they are starting to show some improvements there. Robert Thomas has played his way into the All-Star game. Kyrou showed some flashes of brilliance. Of course, he's getting paid a lot of money to do it, so fans are always going to have high expectations for him. The Blues also have had Braden Shen's production disappear. They want to get, of course, more production out of all of their forwards. And then defensively, how much better can the Blues be? They needed to be a whole lot better, and Colton Parayko has done a very good job of that. Now, with Justin Falk out indefinitely, they've got to find a way to make up for that as well. So it's going to be tough sledding, and then they go out and they win 2 games by giving up a goal in each. The Canucks and the Carolina Hurricanes. Very, very good wins over both of those teams. Vancouver, the best team in the West. And by the way, Carolina is no slouch. They have 49 points. They are 5 points off the lead in the Metropolitan and in very good shape for their own playoff spot. In the Western Conference, Vancouver has 53 points. Now Winnipeg has leaped them with 54, so they have the best record in the West, but Vancouver's number 1 in the Pacific, and the Blues beat them, and they beat Carolina. So a very difficult stretch for the Blues moving forward, and Binnington stands up. 29 saves, 13 saves in the second period, saves in overtime, saves in the shootout. Carolina didn't score on him in the shootout, and he ends up with 29 saves as the number 1 star. Walker got a goal, and Nathan with a big goal for them to be the second star of the game. Shen, though, did get the goal in the shootout in the 5th round, and he gets – that had to feel good. That had to feel really good for him. So he gets the goal, and the Blues win the game by a final of 2-1. Next is the NFL and the playoff picture as it stands right now. Here's pretty much what it is in the NFL right now. You have the big game is tonight, and that would be Buffalo and Miami. If Buffalo wins it, they win the AFC East. If they lose it, well, Pittsburgh Steelers are going to find themselves in the playoffs. And the Steelers also can get in if Jacksonville loses. So you got big, big, big Dolphins fans today in Pittsburgh. But if Buffalo wins this thing, they win the AFC East, and they start to become the team that you thought they could be. They've had some bumps this year, but they are absolutely loaded. So are the Dolphins, but they lack the experience of this time of year. Case in point, last week, they get absolutely torched, and they give up to the Ravens, 56 points. So they've got some explaining to do and some work to do very, very quickly. That's kind of where we are in that scenario. Then the other one, I mentioned Jacksonville. If Jacksonville wins, they will claim the AFC South. Nice win for Houston. Terrible loss for the Colts yesterday. Just awful. On a 4th down, they need 1 yard. They take Taylor out of the game. They put Goodson into a scenario where he was only targeted 9 times all season, and he has to catch a pass, and it drops. I mean, that's a tough one to live with, but he will have to move forward. I hope the best for him. As the Colts also can point to their coaching staff, not just him. or they could point to all of them. The pass was a little bit offline, I guess, but that's not his fault. It's the running back should have caught the ball. The coach should have had a yard. You give it to your best running back. But anyway, the Colts lose the game, and good for the Texans. C.J. Stroud's had a great year. He's had the third best yardage of any rookie quarterback in the history of the league. It's a great young coach, young quarterback combo. I like what they're doing in Houston. So they made the playoffs yesterday. Houston will clinch the South if Jacksonville loses this game. Pittsburgh, I told you their scenario. And Jacksonville, I told you theirs. And Buffalo, I told you theirs, which shifts over to the NFC. So the number one seed in the bye in the NFC is the 49ers. And everybody's going to be watching these games today. So Atlanta at New Orleans at noon. The Falcons will clinch the NFC South with a win and a Tampa Bay loss. New Orleans will clinch the NFC South with a win and a Tampa Bay loss, which of course leads us to Tampa Bay. Where are they? They're Carolina. That should be an easy win for them. But this is the NFL, and you just never know. So the Buccaneers will visit Carolina at noon today. And if they win it, they win the NFC South. Minnesota Vikings can clinch a playoff berth today. They are at Detroit. They have to have a lot of things go for them. They have to win and hope everybody loses. Green Bay, Seattle, Tampa Bay. There's even New Orleans factors into that. There's too much help needed for Minnesota. Dallas can clinch the NFC East with a win today at Washington. I would expect them to do that. And again, the Packers, who are 8-8, they take on the Bears today at 325. They will win. If they beat the Bears, they will go to the playoffs. It is that simple. Win and you're in. If they lose, then they got to hope for some help, in mostly Seattle losing. So that's kind of where we are. There's a lot going on. Now, the Chiefs will play the Chargers today. Chiefs already wrapped up the AFC West. There's no problem for them. They've got they just take care of business in the playoffs. All they worry about. They're not even going to play Patrick Mahomes or a number of starters today. They're going to rest people. But we'll have the game on KMOX at 325. College football tomorrow, Michigan and Washington. You have Michigan, a 4.5-point favorite at last check. That line really hasn't moved all that much. I think that's a pretty good line if you're trying to bet Washington. I think you like 4.5. I personally would be very careful with it. I think that this game could go down to the wire for sure. Kind of, as I said to Scott Jagow, I think how this game is going to play out is Washington's going to go crazy in the beginning of the game. I think they're going to Mike Vick. I called him Vick again. Mike Penix, who I called a young Mike Vick when he was a freshman at Indiana, will be winging that ball all over the place and will give them an early lead. But I think Michigan will do what they do, be physical, and eventually will wear down Washington and play their style of game and eat that clock. But this is a quarterback in Penix that they have not seen before. He was at Indiana, and he's better than he was at Indiana because he has a better cast. He has a better offensive line. He's got some great receivers, and they are dangerous. They play a great style of football that is like when we used to play out in the backyard. Just go out, run this route, and I'll hit you. And that's what Penix does. That's all he does is fire these great long passes and trust his receivers to make the play. So that should be fun to watch it. I am a big fan of Mike Penix, but I also know how good Michigan is, and Michigan could very well lock this game up tomorrow. I think it's going to be close. I really do. I don't see one team blowing out another tomorrow in Houston. We're going to take a break. We're going to go from college football to college basketball and get you through what happened yesterday, all kinds of hoops. And then at 10:30, Travis Ford, the head coach of the Billikens, will be with us. At 10:45, Doug Armstrong, the general manager of the St. Louis Blues. At 11:15, Brian Mullins, the head coach of Southern Illinois basketball. At 11:30, John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations of the Cardinals. At 11:45, Chris Roseman with the St. Louis Sports Commission with the 2024 Outlook. Big show today, big guests. It all continues after this.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And For the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. There's a common misconception that all attorneys are created equal, but that's just not true. Most attorneys are not a one-stop shop. They're not equipped to handle complex trucking accidents, serious construction injuries, or catastrophic claims, let alone fly in an engineering team to reconstruct an accident and prove its cause. There is a difference.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of a cut above. Decades of expertise to transform your home. From so-so to virtuoso. The power of neighborhood painters. We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put the power of pro to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive. Like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Happy holidays, St. Louis. It's your Congresswoman, Cori Bush, here to wish you a safe and joyful holiday season. Our office has proudly helped thousands of constituents over the years, and we are ready to help thousands more. We can assist you with Social Security and Medicare, tax refunds, passports, veterans benefits, small business loans, immigration, and more. Visit our website at bush.house.gov or call our office at 314-955-9988.
It says here that Graybar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Graybar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Graybar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Graybar does that.
Attention credit card holders. If you owe at least $10,000 in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, you may qualify to have your debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. With high interest rates and credit card debt in America at all-time highs, consumer debt relief has never been available at a better time. A consumer helpline has been established by Debt Boss for you to call and see what savings you may qualify for. Call 800-355-6235. Experienced and certified debt specialists are standing by who will negotiate with your creditors to get you maximum savings and one reduced monthly payment. You don't have to take out a consolidation loan or declare bankruptcy. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. To see what savings you qualify for, simply go to debtboss.com or call the helpline now at 800-355-6235. 800-355-6235. That's 800-355-6235.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Good to be with you. We'll talk some college basketball here in just a minute. Get some comments during the break. One, are we having John Mozeliak on the show? The answer is yes at 11:30. The second thing was, are we pursuing Trevor Bauer, or would someone take on Trevor Bauer? I think was the question, Drew. Is that right? Was that the specific question about Trevor?
Yeah, someone was asking, should the Cardinals take him because of his potential upside?
Yeah. So He was suspended because of allegations of sexual abuse. Those charges have been dropped, and he is currently available. He wants to get back to the major leagues. I don't think that anybody is knocking on the Trevor Bauer door because they don't want to deal with the explanation, the attention that it will get, weighing that with how good he is and how much of an impact he would make to their team. There's just a lot of unknown there and a lot of uncertainty, and I just don't think teams are going in that direction right now, but that could change. I don't know. I mean, the offseason is moving along, and we're only in early January, so there's still lots of time to bring pitchers on, to give them an opportunity, to sign them to deals. We're seeing pitchers get signed little by little. We still don't have a spot for Blake Snell, for Jordan Montgomery, for Dylan Cease, who is likely to be traded by the White Sox. So there's just a lot still out there. John Heyman reported this morning that the Yankees are not really close to any deal for Dylan Cease, but they are still monitoring the situation. Ken Rosenthal threw the Cardinals' name into the Dylan Cease conversation, but said there was no known connection, but their name keeps getting mentioned. I'm sure the Cubs are going to be mentioned anytime the Cardinals are mentioned. The Cubs haven't done anything, come to think of it, in this offseason, like nothing. The Reds have, the Brewers have a little bit, and the only thing the Cubs did is got the manager, Craig Counsell. But the Cardinals did get 3 pitchers, and I still believe that they are looking around for more. We're going to talk to John about that, but remember, he will not tell us who they're looking at. He's going to give us an indication maybe if he is still looking, and my guess is that he will say that they are. I don't think that he will close the door on adding another starter, but we'll see. As for college basketball, here's the deal. The number 1 team in the country is Purdue, but I've got to give all the credit to Illinois for how they fought back in that game at West Lafayette. They almost knocked them off. That was on Friday night, and I think that they are a very interesting team, Illinois. They don't have Terrence Shannon Jr. He is suspended due to a rape charge, and I would not anticipate that he's going to be back anytime soon, if at all. So you got to turn that over to somebody who can score, and Marcus Damask has been terrific for them. I think that that's definitely something to watch here, is how Illinois plays great defense to stay in basketball games, and they did that against Purdue, and they almost knocked them off. I think Purdue is a very good team. Are they the best team in the country? Well, the standings say so, but I think the jury's still out there. I think that UConn, in my opinion, is the best team. The defending national champion has the best team overall in the tournament. They're going to prove to be the best team. I think Purdue has a really good Big Ten team and might well win the Big Ten, but when it comes down to it, do they have enough outside of Zach Edey when they are blanketing him to get the job done? Kansas got some help yesterday from the officials. That's just what it was. Hunter Dickinson scored. Kansas beat TCU 83-81. He had 30 points. He scored with 3.4 seconds left. A pair of free throws after a flagrant foul on TCU's Ernest Uday Jr. that I didn't think was, and maybe a little Oscar nomination for Hunter Dickinson on that. Less than a minute to go, ties the game, and then Dickinson hits the free throws to win it. He followed a miss in the final seconds with 3.4. Kansas gets 18 points from KJ Adams. Kevin McCullough had 16. Really good players. Dickinson's the star of the team, but they got away with one there. TCU did not have a flagrant. I don't know how you call that a flagrant, but it's at Allen Fieldhouse. It's at Lawrence, Kansas, and KU was able to benefit from that and win it 83-81. I mentioned Mizzou's game all morning long. They lose to Georgia. The thing about Mizzou is I don't love the way that they're structured offensively. They live and die by the 3. I don't know that they have enough scores. I like positionless basketball, but at times I just don't think Missouri has a Kobe Brown that can bail them out of situations. He would hit a big 3. He would go to the line. He would get post points. He could score from everywhere, and they lack that severely. I think SLU, we're going to talk to Travis Ford here in just a minute, just has so many issues when it comes to playing winning basketball that they've got to fix that immediately, or this thing's going to really start to spiral on them. And then I think the Missouri Valley Conference is getting so much better as a conference. They are currently 9th ranked among all conferences. They showed up yesterday with Bradley flexing some muscle, hammering Missouri State, and then Southern Illinois, which has beaten Oklahoma State, which drilled SLU earlier this year, took care of business at Illinois State, but a very competitive game. I love the type of basketball that's being played in the Valley. We're going to hear from Brian Mullins, the head coach of the Salukis, on the way at 11:15. Coming up next, though, the head coach of St. Louis University, Travis Ford, on KMOX.
The 64th St. Louis Baseball Writers' Dinner will be one to remember. Hi, I'm KMOX Sports Open Line host Matt Pauley. The annual baseball dinner returns January 14th at the Missouri Athletic Club on a Sunday night. A $200 ticket includes access to a cocktail hour, dinner, and an awards program featuring, among others, Tony La Russa, Adam Wainwright, Wilson Contreras, and members of the 2004 pennant-winning team. There's also a VIP event with Jordan Walker and Mason Witt. Get your tickets now at stlouisbbwaa.com.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We are offering up to $100,000 savings on our designer market homes and special McKelvey financing of 5.5%, 30-year fixed, or 4.5% in the first year with our 2-1 buydown. At Inverness at Bryan and Feisey Roads, we have our luxurious LaSalle display home for sale. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with all the most popular features. Hurry, these deals won't last. Visit McKelveyhomes.com today.
Royal Banks of Missouri is your community bank with locations throughout St. Louis, St. Charles, Northeast Missouri, Granite City, and Jerseyville, Illinois. A bank branch is not far away. Royal Banks brings in experienced staff and products and services designed to meet your professional and personal financial needs. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Call 314-212-1500 today. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal opportunity lender. Looking for a new home or to refinance your current mortgage? Royal Banks of Missouri wants to be your home buying partner. With a local staff that will guide you through the process, Royal Banks is an experienced mortgage lender that you can trust. There's still time to lock in on a low rate. Call 314-212-1500 today. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC and equal opportunity lender.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Our Billiken Report with Travis Ford is sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri. We welcome in the St. Louis University coach for another Sunday conversation. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Lost yesterday to George Mason, 79-67. Let's start with that and your evaluation of the game yesterday in Fairfax.
Well, I thought we got off to a really good start, and we're defending the way we wanted to, and kind of we're sticking to the game plan. And then we hit a stretch where we couldn't quit fouling. I mean, in total, I think they end up shooting 34, 35 free throws for the night, which makes it literally impossible to win on the road or anywhere for that matter. And, you know, I thought it was a combination. We did foul too much. I thought, you know, some I thought were questionable, but that's part of it. But we never could gain any rhythm defensively, and we've been really struggling defensively, very much struggling defensively. And we thought we were playing really good, tough, aggressive defense. And I just thought, George, the other team was being bailed out a little bit on some fouls near the basket. And a lot of these were at the end of a shot clock, or we would literally get a rebound and be headed the other way, and all of a sudden a whistle would blow. And, so we could never gain any rhythm at all defensively or even offensively for that matter. And I think that's what we're struggling with right now. Obviously, we're struggling as a team. breaking down film and watching it over and over, we're giving up too many runs to the other team, and we're not getting any runs. We have no rhythm right now. And a lot of that, I think, is due to the injuries. We'd gotten our starting point guard back. Then he didn't even make the trip yesterday. So that, was another injury that we were dealing with. But right now we're just struggling to get any rhythm whatsoever.
When it comes to let's go to defense, how do you have to go back to the basics when it comes to being just a better defender fundamentally, as well as you said, learning the film, understanding what they're trying to do against you, but fundamentally getting back to breaking bad habits?
Yeah, it's a combination, Tom. It's a combination. And, we've been fortunate over the last 5 years. I think we've had a first-team all-league defender, whether it be Yuri Collins, Jordan Goodwin, Francis Okoro, Javon Bess was Defensive Player of the Year in our league. We've been very fortunate to have, that one leader on your team defensively that everybody kind of followed. He set the tone, things like that. We don't necessarily have that right now, and that's not necessarily a knock on anyone. That's just not anybody. If you look at our starting lineup or top 6 or 7, that's just not their identity. Any one player, that's not necessarily their identity as a player, which was, the identity of, a Jordan Goodwin or obviously Yuri Collins and the guys that I'd mentioned. So, and I've talked to our players about this, and I said, that's okay. We don't have to have, necessarily that. You wish you had one guy that was the leader of the defense, but so we got to play great team defense, incredible team defense. Maybe we don't have, a bunch of guys that are just one-on-one ball stoppers and guys that are just going to heat the ball up and just lock a guy down. That's not necessarily. So we've got to play better team defense, and that's what we're struggling with. Guys understanding rotations and guys understanding it. And then last night we were just getting beat off the dribble. That does come down to a lot of one-on-one defense. We were just getting beat off the dribble. So we've got to start, figuring out ways to help this team be the best version of themselves on both ends of the court. And, we spent three months pressing for, 2 hours of practice. And, we were 4-0. When we were 4-0, we pressed for 40 minutes every single game. Hopefully we can start getting some guys back healthy and we can maybe start pressing again, mixing in some more zone and doing some things to help this team become a better defensive team. Because I don't look out there at any one person. I say that guy is absolutely killing us, or that guy is absolutely the guy we're going to lean on. So we got to do it as a whole to become a better defensive team.
Yeah, I totally understand that. If you play that picking up full court, you can make the other team take them out of what they're trying to do. When you play zone, you can calm things down a little bit, or at least, block the lane from any activity. But you did that last night a little bit, not the full court, but you did play some zone last night or yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We mixed in quite a bit. We have obviously a 2-3 zone that we could go to. We have a 1-3-1. Obviously we start pressing late, which, just trying to speed the game up a little bit by that point. But, when you press, it can camouflage some weaknesses, and that's what we need to be doing more of probably. And it's just they've been so short of bodies. We had to get back from that. But, I think hopefully we get some guys healthy and hopefully start playing better defense.
And when it comes to offense, turnovers, are they happening all throughout the game, or are they happening when you start to trail and you're trying to force something to, like, what I'm saying, you're down by 10 and your team says, well, you got to get 10 points. We got to get them fast. So let's work faster.
Yeah, the turnovers are a problem. Starting with the NC State game, for 3 games in a row, turnovers have really been a real liability. And it's put our defense at a tough position. We studied it last night again, and we proposed the question, are these totally unforced? Are they being pressured into turnovers? A lot of them are being pressured into turnovers. Guys are putting themselves in bad spots, at the rim and not being strong with the basketball. Some of them are just bad decisions, passing-wise. We made a couple of bad decisions on the break yesterday. that led to turnovers. But several of them are being caused by the defense pressuring us too much. But turnovers, no matter how they're being done or how you're getting turnovers, they're self-inflicted wounds that we've got to just, we should be better than that, because we've proven earlier in the year it was one of our strengths. We were really having great ball security, and now it's just gone out the door. And again, we were without our starting point guard last night, but we still should be able to take care of the basketball.
Travis Ford is with us, and just to wrap things up, I think about some of your high points as a coach here in St. Louis, and I think of that great moment of you piling on top of your team on the floor. You're winning in the postseason, and those are such great memories. But it's hard to. I think it's probably hard to get back there, and because what it takes to get there, you have to be able to communicate it to your players. The strengths and weaknesses of your players, but you said something earlier that I think is probably the key to all of this, is that getting them to play together as a unit. You could get a great X number of minutes out of a certain player in this scenario, that scenario. You've got to find a way to get the right combinations going, injuries or not, as a unit defensively. That's a big task ahead, but is there time?
We're not even halfway through the season. We've got to, again, I think a lot of it's been rhythm. Brian Kunderman, who was our SID, great SID, Mitch did last night. This has been the most combination of lineups that I've ever played since I've been here, as far as in games. That's tough on a team defensively and offensively. That's reality. I've been playing the game my whole life and coaching it my whole life, so I know, what it looks like. Do I think this team, we could play better, but we got to make sure what team is out there on the court, that we've got to get every single individual player playing up to their total ability. I think we'll start reaching the best that we can be when we do get everybody out there, and we can develop some rhythm of how we want to look. No different than when we were 100% healthy. We had an identity. We were pressing for 40 minutes. We were playing very up-tempo offensively, averaging over 80 points a game, and had some really good wins early and started out 4-0. And since then, it's been hard to develop the rhythm that we need. Is it excuses? Absolutely. That's part of it. I'm sure everybody wishes everything in life went absolutely according to plan, but that's just not the case all the time. You're right. I do understand what it takes to win, and I know what it looks like. We're not there right now. We're struggling as a basketball team, but we'll figure it out. It doesn't do us any good other than get up every single morning, figure out how to get better.
Last quick thing, Thames being back, that's a big lift, I know. What about Parker? How soon does he come back?
We don't really have, hopefully sooner than later, but it's kind of been that way for the last couple of weeks. Not sure exactly. Don't have a timetable exactly. Hopefully very sooner than later. He's been doing a little bit more, and we're just waiting for the doctors to give him the go-ahead. And as soon as that happens, then we'll start easing him back in. But you're exactly right. Kellen Thames is a very important piece to our team, and it's great to have him back. He's still getting his rhythm. He's missed a lot of time, but we love what he brings, especially before he was hurt. He was probably one of our most valuable players on our team.
Really appreciate your insightful answers as always. Great talking ball with you, and best of luck as you move forward, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
That's Travis Ford, head coach of the Billikens, with us on KMOX. 1045, Doug Armstrong, the general manager of the Blues, next.
We enjoyed up until today, very mild winter, my personal opinion. It's been very nice, very mild. But winter seems like it is here now. I like to let everybody know, if your furnace is broken, call me. You are a preferred customer of mine. Everybody gets great pricing, excellent treatment, knowledgeable techs, and me. No extra charge to call us. You don't have to pay me in advance for me to get out there same day. Call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Two things to remember: phone number, and if you're tech savvy, which I'm not, it's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Happy New Year.
They're good.
Gooder than you can imagine.
And you can assure me that they've got it going on.
Most of St. Louis thinks so.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late night.
You are my hero.
Technically, Jerry Kelly is your hero, but I'll take it.
JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Happy holidays, St. Louis. It's your Congresswoman, Cori Bush, here to wish you a safe and joyful holiday season. Our office has proudly helped thousands of constituents over the years, and we are ready to help thousands more. We can assist you with Social Security and Medicare, tax refunds, passports, veterans benefits, small business loans, immigration, and more. Visit our website at bush.house.gov or call our office at 314-955-9988.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea at Best Buy Flooring, sounding the alarm for all contractors. Holidays are around the corner and we have in-stock flooring for all of your projects.
Contractor pricing for carpet, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, ceramic tile, and sheet vinyl.
2 locations to serve you: 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring. Hurry in.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
1048, welcome in the general manager of the St. Louis Blues, Doug Armstrong. Thanks for hanging through the break. We appreciate you. How are you, Doug?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Great to see you at the Jack Buck Awards. Congratulations on your terrific honor, receiving the Stan the Man Award, and congratulations on another win last night, beating the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 in a shootout. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was. I was over in Europe and I got home just in time to watch the game. I thought the guys, really the last 4 or 5 or 6 games have played really well. We're keeping the shot total down and playing deep into games against really good competition. So there's some positives there on our overall game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And a 2-1 win over Vancouver the night before. So defensively, certainly the team has taken it up a notch. And Jordan Binnington, I mean, what can you say about number 50? I've continued to call him the face of the franchise. And this team kind of goes as he goes. Is that accurate, do you think?
Yeah, he's playing very good hockey, but as I said, as we talked about earlier, we are keeping our shot total down now, so we're not exposing him to the high level danger shots maybe that he's had to face over the last little while. But as we all know, if you give Benner the opportunity to make a big save, he can do that, and we're limiting the second opportunities, and he's played very well for us. And I would say that because of what he did back years ago in 2019, he probably is the face of the franchise just because of his epic, rise from that January all the way through that playoff and his steady play since.
And I know a lot has been said about the Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou combo. And when you sign 2 players to that amount of money in that many years, that comes with the territory. This is the best league in the world. But Robert Thomas has earned an all-star spot. And I think credit needs to go to Thomas for what he's been able to do. How has he changed his game, do you think, over the last couple of years?
I wouldn't say he's changed much, quite honestly. He's just matured. I think, he's just entering the prime of his career now. And we had players that were playing ahead of him that he was learning from, whether it was Ryan O'Reilly was probably the number one guy, one of the best 200-foot players in Blues history. I think Robert watched him not only help us offensively, but how he could be relied on defensively. And, now as he watched O'Reilly and learned, he's been given that opportunity to take that job. And I think he's going to have it for the next decade or so. He's a 200-foot player with a very gifted offensive passer. And what we're seeing now is a very, very accurate and hard shot, good release, good wrist shot. And he's scoring goals now, and he looks like a dual threat. I would say going into the year, that was one of the things that he wanted to work on, was getting his shot off and becoming a dual threat. And now he is. And so difficult to defend against now because he's got such unbelievable passing skills. But he also will hold everybody accountable with a good shot.
And finally, before I ask you about your experience in Europe with the World Juniors and all of this prospects, the abrupt departure of Craig Berube, publicly, it was so quick and something that I think took a lot of people by surprise. Now that we've had some time to digest it, that we've had some time to evaluate Drew Bannister, what is the difference right now? Are players being held more accountable? Is it a better style of play? Is it all of the above?
I would say it's all of the above. I don't think Craig never had any issue holding people accountable. I think it was just, the message maybe was getting stale or whatever. And I think it's shock treatment, I guess. And you never want to get to that point as a manager where you have to shock the team by making massive trades or making changes behind the bench. But we did this time, and we had to make that. And I think everyone's focus has certainly been pinpointed, and it's just the nature of the beast in pro sport, and certainly in the NHL. You look at how long Craig spent here and was one of the longer tenured guys in the league at that time frame. And unfortunately, it just wasn't, starting last year and going through this year, we didn't seem to have that same laser focus that you have to be successful. And we had to make a change. And Craig is a great coach. He was a great coach for us for a long time. He's going to go on and coach against somewhere else. But in pro sports, sometimes change has to be made.
Doug Armstrong is with us. The World Juniors and the Blues had 7 prospects play for their respective countries. They've never had that many. In fact, no team in the NHL had more than that. You shared that with Arizona and Buffalo. 7 prospects. Tell me about your experience there and some of the players that you saw.
Well, it was certainly a great experience. I got over there. I left here on the 28th and just got back late last night. Sorry, got a little bit of cold over there too.
Yeah, that's all right. It's going around here too.
Yes. Well, it was very good. Not only did our players participate in the tournament, but they were big time players in the tournament. You look at each, I know we led the goals and point and assist and point total by a wide margin this year, and that's just off the back of the good play of those players. And we had guys at the top of their offensive categories, and it was just a really good tournament. And it's really good to see. Obviously, last year we had to move our rebuild. I think when we talked about this even 2, 3, 4 years ago, internally, we thought this would be the first year with O'Reilly and Tarasenko's contract expiring. We knew we had a number of guys, and we were hoping to get through last year as a top team. And when that didn't happen, we just expedited everything by 5 months, which got us to the draft with 3 first rounders. And all 3 of those guys played in the World Junior. And then it's what you do when you play there. They were all top players on their team too, which was really good to see. And, we'll all come here to camp next year, and we'll all be able to see a gold, a silver, and a bronze medal. So it's a lot of success, not only than just playing, but having success in the tournament.
That's well said. And that was going to be my next question: is how close are any of these players? You mentioned we're going to see them next year and see them compete, and you never know. I mean, young players can break through.
Yeah, they can, and we don't want to. What we don't want to do is fail the players. You see that in a lot of times in the NHL. People will think the players failed the team, but sometimes the teams fail the players by putting them in situations that they're not prepared for to have success. And so what we want to do is we'll bring them to training camp next year, or we'll look at signing them. They can, like, of the 5 players from drafted last year, they were all very good players this year, leading their countries in offensive categories. And they all have the ability to go back to the World Junior again next year. So I would say we could have, anywhere between 5 and 8 or 9, depending on this year's draft in the World Junior next year also. But I know they'll focus on trying to make our team, and we'll have decisions to make this summer on whether we let them either return to Europe to play for a year, sign them, and have them compete for a job in ours, with the American League being an option. So we have a lot of decisions to make, and quite honestly, those decisions just became cloudier based on the World Junior. I would say going into it, if last December 15th of 2023, I would have thought all the players would be back in their 19-year-old years in a different league, but they played well enough now that it's going to spark some conversation in our group on what's the best thing for them moving forward.
Some really nice players. Jimmy Snuggerud, Otto Stenberg, 5th in the tournament with 5 goals. The Blues prospects, actually, all of them scored at least a goal and combined for 4 multi-goal games in the World Juniors. Doug Armstrong was there and reports back to KMOX, and the Blues fans, we appreciate it very much. Get that cold better, and we will see you real soon.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, and Happy New Year to you and all your listeners.
Happy New Year. Great to talk to you. We'll be back after the news.
Nobody wants a surprise in their jelly donut. It's toothpaste? That's because the middle is the most important part. At Graybar, we're at the middle of electrical and datacom jobs across the country, connecting installers, facility managers, and business owners with smart solutions for their most challenging projects, which means stocking and delivering crucial products on time and on budget with no surprises, thanks to our nationwide logistics network. Yep, Graybar does that.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 11:20 a.m. further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. with the good news on the USBC network. There are some who want to debate whether or not the green environmental movement and the business sector can coexist without trauma and drama. The good news is the answer is yes. Both green policies and corporate business policies can both be aligned and mutually supported. It is called sustainable development, and that is what is needed today to benefit all humanity.
Is your phone plan messing with your savings plan? Don't get stuck paying for things you don't want. With Verizon, you only pay for what you need. And for a limited time, when you bring your own phones to a Verizon store, you'll get an amazing price on your plan. Plus, you'll save on things you actually love, like the Netflix and Max with Ads bundle. And it's on our award-winning 5G network. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today for an incredible deal. A better plan to save is Verizon. Additional terms and conditions apply.
That's the good news. I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Peter King. It looks like Platkill, New York leads the pack in snowpack for the Northeast storm with nearly 15 inches on the ground. The storm is over much of New York and virtually all of New England, but it's left dangerous driving conditions behind in places like Allentown, Pennsylvania.
I'm talking slippery, really slippery.
to the point where you need the four-wheel drive.
As the Biden administration looks for solutions to the border crisis, critics say what's being done now doesn't even come close.
A new CBS News poll finds Americans increasingly see the situation along the border as a crisis and want to see tougher measures in place. House Speaker Mike Johnson preaching to that choir on CBS's Face the Nation.
The number is over 7 million illegal encounters at the border just since President Biden took office.
Johnson coupling future military aid for Ukraine to tougher border measures. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
A congressional election denier says she won't commit to certifying the 2024 results. New York Republican Elise Stefanik appears on NBC's Meet the Press.
We will see if this is a legal and valid election. What we're seeing so far is that Democrats are so desperate, they're trying to remove President Trump from the ballot. That is a suppression of the American people. And the Supreme Court is taking that case up in February. That should be a 9-0 to allow President Trump to appear on the ballot, because that's the American people's decision to make.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken has started a new round of shuttle diplomacy in the Middle East.
Arriving in Jordan, Secretary Blinken said that accepting a ceasefire now would leave Hamas in power in Gaza. But he called on Israel to do more to lessen the civilian death toll in Gaza.
Protecting civilians will help prevent Hamas from further exploiting the situation. But most important, it's simply the right and moral thing to do.
Linda Gradstein for CBS News, Jerusalem.
The NTSB has started its investigation into the Alaska Airlines window blowout, and board chair Jennifer Homendy says she hopes somebody will find the parts that came off the plane last Friday.
It would be a help to us incredibly for our investigation if you find that, to reach out, of course.
The FAA has temporarily grounded Boeing 737 MAX 9s until they pass extensive structural inspections. Who knew that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was hospitalized last week, and when did they find out? CBS's Robert Costa.
CBS News has learned that the President's National Security Council and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan were unaware of his hospital stay until Thursday. During part of that time, the 70-year-old was in the intensive care unit, and his duties were partly assumed by Deputy Kathleen Hicks. In a statement, Austin said he's on the mend and takes full responsibility for his decisions about disclosure.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility, great pay, and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have cloudy skies and 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, there's a push to have Joe Biden's name taken off the Democratic Party's primary ballot in Missouri.
The man behind it, Republican State Senator Bill Eigel of St. Charles County, says the sitting president should be removed from consideration for the White House in 2024 for, quote, the aid and comfort he has given our enemies. KMOX Democratic strategist Michael Kelly with reaction on Total Information AM Sunday.
I think this will backfire, and I think it's mainly attention-seeking by Bill Eigel.
In his announcement, Eigel touts he is the only candidate for Missouri governor who has endorsed Donald Trump for president and finds it absurd that Colorado and Maine are seeking to have Trump's name removed from their ballots. Republican strategist John Hancock calls Eigel's pending Senate bill performance art and shares the guidelines for a presidential run.
You have to be born in the United States. You have to be at least 35 years old. And according to the theory that's current now related to Donald Trump, you cannot have participated or supported an insurrection of the government.
Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Police are on the hunt for a stolen vehicle and suspect who allegedly carjacked a DoorDash driver in South St. Louis. It unfolded around 3:30 yesterday morning in the 4000 block of Oregon Avenue. That's in Dutchtown. The victim, a 34-year-old man, was delivering a DoorDash order to a home when the suspect appeared at the passenger side of his car and produced a weapon. The suspect ordered the victim out, snatched his keys, and took off in the northbound direction. Police are looking for a stolen vehicle, a black 2011 Nissan Sentra with a Missouri plate VG9L8N. Authorities have arrested a man in connection to the discovery of a body early this week in a wooded area in Alton.
The Madison County State's Attorney's Office has charged 44-year-old Antonio Baker with first-degree murder in connection with the death of 34-year-old Andre Hawkins. Hawkins' body was discovered shortly after noon on Wednesday. He was found in a wooded area along Lincoln Avenue with several gunshot wounds.
We believe that it started out as a dispute at a house over in St. Louis.
and that dispute ultimately ended up with the victim and the suspect being in a vehicle together, and then traveling from that house in St. Louis to eventually to Alton, where the murder occurred.
Alton Police Chief Jared Ford says both men are from St. Louis County. His department and the Illinois State Police are both investigating the incident. Melanie Steen, KMOX News.
The clouds will stick around, a high of 42 this afternoon, overnight around freezing. Then tomorrow, 44, and a powerful storm could be hitting the area tomorrow night into Tuesday, starting as rain, changing to snow. Accumulation is probably 1 to 3 inches, and the roads could be slippery at times into Tuesday afternoon, even into Wednesday morning. Right now, we have 37 in St. Peter's, same in Florissant, 38 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Great to visit with Travis Ford and Doug Armstrong last hour. If you want to hear those interviews, go to KMOX.com, Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page later today. Make sure you subscribe to that. It's a great way to just listen to the show if you miss any portion of it or if you don't catch it during the morning. We're here from 10 to 12 every Sunday, unless we get preempted by football. We usually don't. Chiefs are usually an afternoon or evening game these days, and they play at 3:25 today against the Chargers. The Chiefs are not involved in anything playoff-wise. They've already wrapped up the AFC West. At 11:15, about 8 minutes away, we're going to be joined by Brian Mullins. He is the head coach of the Southern Illinois Salukis. They are playing really well right now. If you have not noticed, one of the best teams in this region is SIU. They are off to a terrific start in the Missouri Valley Conference. In fact, the Valley, just as in general, is looking very strong. And we'll talk to Coach Mullins about that, including a player who is one of the best in the country right now, statistically, playing for this Saluki outfit, and that would be Xavier Johnson. We also will be joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. He is with us at 11:30 today, hasn't joined us since the 17th. So we have a lot to talk to. We gave him Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve off for the holidays, and we're back at it with the Cardinals President of Baseball Operations just days before the Cardinals winter warm-up. Cardinals made a trade on Friday that we will talk about with him and more. And we also have Chris Roseman of the St. Louis Sports Commission to join us at 11:45 today. Thought it was an interesting conversation with Travis Ford, where he really opened up about how he's teaching defense, what he is thinking about this team, the problems that they're having. He does say that injuries have a big play in all of this. So you can go back and listen to all of that in the 10:30 portion of the show. And then at 10:45, nice visit. I always wish I had more time with Doug Armstrong, quite honestly. He's really good at explaining things and what this team is doing. There's a lot of pressure on him. You fire Craig Berube, you better be able to bounce back and make it up, and he'll have to decide, is it Drew Bannister or somebody else that's going to lead this team in the future? But so far, so good for Bannister, I think. And they're 7-3 under Bannister. It's a nice start. So you can go back. That was at 10:45. Right now, though, it's time for our NFL picks.
And a key block by the left guard, Tom Ackerman. And right here, let's go downstairs to Moss.
Marv, if you remember that big run Robert Holcomb had on the first drive, one of the guys responsible on help busting him loose was Tom Ackerman.
Tom Ackerman up front, and this is a unit that has played very well. A good night for Eddie George. 21 carries, 74 yards. The left guard, Tom Ackerman, with the block that set him free. It's a first down.
Our thanks, as always, to Marv Albert and Bonnie Bernstein and former producer Lisa Herman, who put that together back in the day. And, of course, Tom Ackerman, the offensive lineman at that time for the Titans, for providing the soundtrack to our NFL picks. I've decided that, Drew, I'm not going to go crazy on picks today. I'm only going to pick games that have playoff implications, because otherwise, I'm not going to pick Chiefs-Chargers. Nobody cares. The players are just going to, the backups are going to be playing, and it doesn't have any bearing on what's happening next weekend. So let's do this, okay? Let's start with, if the season ended today, what would the tournament look like? In the AFC, Baltimore has the number 1 seed. They would be playing the winner of Houston and Cleveland, and that game would be in Cleveland. That game would be in Houston, 4 and 5, right? No, as it stands right now, Cleveland actually, because they have claimed their division. Miami and Pittsburgh would hook up, and Kansas City and Buffalo. But there's a lot to be said today. On the other side, San Francisco has the number 1 seed. Tampa Bay would play Philly. Dallas would get Green Bay. Detroit would get the Rams, who are actually playing pretty well. So this is where we are right now. Today in the AFC, huge game between Jacksonville and Tennessee, because Jacksonville, if it wins, will clinch the AFC South. But you, kind better, are wondering, what would we do if we were throwing a little wager on this game? Well, the game is the following. Jacksonville is a 3.5-point favorite at Tennessee. Now, the Titans have a lot of pride. It's going to be a chilly day, but not a lot of rain. A chance to throw the ball around a little bit. The over-under is 41.5. It sounds about right. I think Jacksonville wins this game by more than a field goal. I think they will cover that 3.5. I'm going Jacksonville minus 3.5. If they win it, they win the AFC South. Elsewhere in the AFC, major impact game tonight. Buffalo at Miami. I can't wait to settle in after a long day of coaching 7th grade girls basketball, and I'm looking forward to all of my games today. We're going to get after it today, Drew. We are going to get after it. And then when the final game is through, I'm going to go home. I'm going to crack open or pour myself a nice adult beverage, and I'm going to settle in for the Bills and the Dolphins in Miami Gardens on NBC. Oh, wait, I can't, because KSDK doesn't come through on my UVerse. DirecTV and UVerse with a dispute with KSDK. What the heck is going on here? It's playoff time. Why are you doing this to me? Well, I'll just listen on the radio, I guess. Or I'll find a way to watch it. Don't worry. But I can't watch it on my living room TV unless I do all kinds of fun little ways to get it on there because of a dispute. Thanks a lot. At any rate, it's a 3-point. Buffalo's a 3-point favorite at Miami. I think people have forgotten that the Dolphins can pile up the points in a hurry, that the Dolphins got embarrassed at Baltimore last week, 56-19, that the Dolphins have been scheming and planning for this one as well. But I also think that there will be some short memories in that Buffalo absolutely trounced this team in Buffalo on October 1st, 48-20. That Buffalo has one of the best quarterbacks in the game in Josh Allen, and that Buffalo has all kinds of motivation right now after playing not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 terrific games in a row, actually 6. The Denver game was not, but the Eagles game was a battle that they ended up losing 37-34. Before that, they torched the Jets. They lost to the Eagles. They didn't cry about it. They regrouped. They went on a bye, and this is what they did. Went to Kansas City and won 20-17. Hammered the Cowboys at home 31-10. Went to the Chargers and eked one out 24-22, and then they handled business against New England 27-21. I like the Bills today to cover the 3. I think they're going to win this game at Miami. I think they're going to win the AFC East, and I think they're going to be a very tough out in the postseason. I think that nobody wanted to see Buffalo in this situation. They're going to secretly be rooting for the Dolphins. I don't know, man. I think this could be a real problem for people if Buffalo gets in, and I like them to cover. In the NFC, who's at play today with playoff implications? There are a few. There's a noon game between Atlanta and New Orleans. Winner has to hope that Tampa Bay loses, but winner will win the NFC South if Tampa Bay loses. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite at home against the Falcons. Not a big fan of what the Falcons have done this year. Way too inconsistent. I like the Saints to cover that 3 at home. Here's the problem. Tampa Bay isn't losing. They're a 5-point favorite at Carolina. I think they will cover that. I like giving Carolina 5. Carolina's 2-14. I know they've tried to rally and everything, but Tampa Bay's got a lot to play for, even with injuries that they're dealing with, Baker Mayfield, etc. I like them on the road at Carolina to win and win the NFC South. Then you've got Green Bay and Chicago. The Bears at Lambeau Field, and the Packers are a 2.5-point favorite. Here's the scenario. If the Packers win, they clinch a playoff berth. If the Bears can find a way, they would love nothing more than to spoil the Packers' party. Not going to happen today at Lambeau, unfortunately. The Bears are 7-9. They're going to finish the year 7-10. Packers win, and they cover the 2.5 today at home against the Chicago Bears, and they are going to slip into the playoffs. Seattle at Arizona. Seattle will clinch if the Packers lose, but if they just win against Arizona, they're going to clinch a playoff spot. Seahawks are a sneaky good team. They play at Arizona today. They're a 3-point favorite. Boy, I'm taking all the favorites today. I'm going Seattle -3. I think they will do this. They've had some interesting games this year. They got off to a hot start, then they went through a lull. But in fairness, in those 4 straight losses, 2 of them were San Francisco. I think they rally here. They beat Arizona, and they go to the playoffs. That's your look, and they cover. They cover the 3. That's your look at our NFL picks. Brian Mullins, head coach of the Salukis, next.
Nominations for the 2024 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 10th. Head to WOASTL.org.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
This is Tom Ackerman. At the end of last Cardinals season, manager Oliver Marmol wanted to get together with fans, make himself available to answer all of their questions. And it is happening Thursday, January 18th at Tapawingo National Golf Club. For $75, a beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary cocktails, and an intimate conversation with Ollie Marmol. Purchase your tickets today. They are online and they will go fast. KMOX.com/events.
New year, new room, no tax. We're on a mission to save you money in 2024 at Miller Furniture and Mattress, with huge discounts in every category going on now through January 16th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, you save the sales tax on all in-stock furniture and double the tax discount on 30 different mattress styles.
Save on all FlexSteel sectionals, sofas, love seats, chairs, and recliners. For a limited time, double your discount on select FlexSteel styles.
We're receiving custom order discounts from many of our Amish craftsmen. Save hundreds on our large selection of solid wood Amish-made furniture in Belleville, Lake St. Louis, Ellisville, and our newest location in Fairview Heights.
Plus, receive a free adjustable base with your purchase of a Chatham & Wells or Posh & Lavish mattress, pillow, and mattress cover.
Don't miss our new year, new room, no tax sale where you save the sales tax going on now through January 16th. Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture. Check out millerfurniture.com for all the details.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit to tell you that's for sure. That's Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, antique firearms, military relics, uniforms, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring it to Midwest Money at 5900 Hampton in South St. Louis to find out. Plus, Midwest Money is home of the largest model train layout in St. Louis. And the first Sunday of every month, bring your family to see this great model railroad exhibit, and it's free. My advice to you is to bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. So come on in. They'd like to meet you at Midwest Money. You'll be happy you did.
This is Tom Ackerman. At the end of last Cardinals season, manager Oliver Marmol wanted to get together with fans, make himself available to answer all of their questions. And it is happening Thursday, January 18th at Tapawingo National Golf Club. For $75, a beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary cocktails, and an intimate conversation with Ollie Marmol. Purchase your tickets today. They are online and they will go fast. KMOX.com/events.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to KMOX. It is a pleasure to be joined by the head coach at Southern Illinois University, Brian Mullins. Salukis are 11-4 overall and 3-1 in the Missouri Valley Conference. They have won 5 in a row after beating Illinois State on the road yesterday, 71-64. Coach, congratulations and welcome back to KMOX.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It's good to be with you. Last time I saw you in person, it was a loss at Indiana State. I don't want to bring that up too much. I know you don't like that one very much. But, boy, you came back, and I said to somebody, I wouldn't want to be the team that's playing Southern Illinois next. I go, it's the Billikens, who, of course, we love over here. They're our partner. You took it to them, and you really haven't stopped since then.
Yeah, we've been able to continue to get better. I think really even since the beginning of this season, this group has continued to improve kind of week by week and month by month. And, we had a couple injuries there early on in the season, and then we got Jared Hensley, a transfer eligible here for the last couple of weeks. So I think we're continuing to get better, which is exciting. And, had a big road win last night. You know how hard it is to win in the Valley on the road. So hopefully we can kind of keep up this momentum and continue to get better through this month of January.
It is. The Missouri Valley Conference is a lot like the Big Ten in that way. If you can get a win on the road, you are in good shape. You got to defend your home court, and Banterra Center has been a fun place for you to play, hasn't it? You've been very successful there.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, throughout the last couple of years, and then we obviously being able to have St. Louis at the Banterra Center and Oklahoma State in terms of the non-conference this year, and then to be able to open up after Christmas break with 2 Valley games with UIC and Belmont. It's been an unbelievable crowd, and what makes this place so special is our community and Saluki Nation, how much people care about this program. So our guys love playing obviously here in Carbondale.
Really nice win for you yesterday, 71-64. I want to talk about Xavier Johnson in just a bit, but how about Trent Brown? I mean, he comes out there, he fires up 20 points as the Salukis win the game.
Yeah, I mean, Trent was with us from day one here. He was the first kid that said, I want to play for you, Coach Mullins. He's been here, this is his 5th year now with the COVID. And, he's had ups and downs through injuries, but he's been one of our toughest kids through the 5 years, one of our best leaders through the 5 years. And he's put a lot of work in throughout, this off season up through the fall. And he's been available every single day this last year. And, happy for him. He really stepped up last night and, had a great determination, kind of the way he played and made some huge shots for us.
Xavier Johnson had 26 points for the Salukis in that win. If that sounds like a lot, it is. But I will add that he has had 5 30-point games this season. Is that right? Do I have that number right? He's gone over 30 points or more 5 different times this season for you, one of the best scorers in the country.
Yeah. You guys would know more about the statistics. I know when he's making shots, it's really good for us, but, and he's done that consistently throughout this season so far. And, he was huge for us again last night. He got to the free throw line a couple times late, made a couple big shots again. And, I think the impressive thing with Xavier is, his ability to pass the ball, his ability to share the ball, and then his shooting percentages. He's not taking 26 shots to get 26 points, and so, he had 9 assists last night and, he's guarding as well. So, obviously he's off to a great start. He's playing at a really, really high level, not just in terms of the Missouri Valley, but nationally as well.
I just went through it just to make sure I was right. 38, 31, 32, 31, and 31. But as you mentioned, it's a well-rounded game. And when you have a player like that everybody is accounting for and everybody is scouting for, that makes it even more difficult of a challenge for that player. Everyone else, of course, has to accompany him, but that's also impressive, isn't it? Knowing that people are keying on you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's where the depth of our team this year has really helped us. And guys have stepped up, different guys on different nights. But, we have 5 or 6 guys that can get 15 points on any night, besides Xavier. So, in terms of X, he doesn't force a lot of issues. If he's got 2 guys on him, he's comfortable making, the extra pass or hitting the open man. And then, we got multiple guys probably averaging between 7 and 9 points right now. And, all those guys, vary, in terms of who nights, last night you look at it and Trent had the huge night. And then we have AJ Ferguson, Jared Hensley, Clarence Rupert, Troy D'Amico, a lot of other guys that can score double figures on any night too. So, the guys have really shared the ball. We had 20 assists, 10 turnovers last night, and we got to keep playing that type of basketball.
This is Brian Mullins, the head coach of SIU. How is the league in your estimation? Is it on the way up in terms of overall depth moving forward?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure where it's been at maybe this last week or two, right after Christmas, but I know before Christmas, in terms of net rankings, in terms of everything, the league was as high as it's been, I think maybe since 17-18 or something like that, just in terms of all the statistical things. Had a pretty good non-conference. I think, honestly, it probably could have been better if some of the teams didn't have some injuries to some of their guys. Even us, we had AJ Ferguson out for most of the non-conference, but a lot of other teams had some of their guys out. And it just seems like that's how it works out in the Valley. Like, teams kind of get guys hurt in non-conference, and then everyone just beats each other up once Valley play starts and everyone gets really healthy. And but I think, just like last year, last year it was incredibly strong. I think we had 4 or 5 teams that could have won games in the NCAA tournament last year. And I think, this year that's how it's trending as well.
How's the young man from Vashon? You have the 6'6" freshman, Kennard Davis Jr. How's he looking?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He started, AJ Ferguson got hurt, and I don't know how many games in a row he started for us, maybe the last 8, last 9 for us now, and he's playing with great confidence. He's a two-way player, and that's what's hard to find, and that's why we love him. He can guard multiple positions, and he can make shots and drive the basketball on offense. And in this COVID era right now, it's hard for true freshmen to play. And he's probably one of the few ones that's playing significant minutes and really contributing.
One last thing for you. You've got a big day coming up. All of your games are big, but you're going to be taking on Bradley on January 17th, and it is Mike Reese Appreciation Night. The Hall of Fame broadcaster's career has come to a close at SIU. He stepped down after 44 years on the microphone last spring. Just your recollections, not only as a coach, but as a player of Mike Reese.
Yeah, Mike has been with me, kind of my whole career, just in terms of, when I got to campus as a, 18-year-old, through my journey here as a student athlete, and then stayed in touch with me when I was overseas, when I was coaching at Loyola Chicago, and then obviously starting my head coaching career here. He was with me every single day. So he means a lot to me. He's a great friend. And just in terms of what he means to SIU basketball and SIU athletics, a lot of highlights, a lot of memories for people are associated with Mike Reese. And he's done an unbelievable job covering our program and, SIU in general, and just the impact I think he's made on people's lives and kind of how they think about SIU basketball. You can't think of SIU basketball without Mike Reese.
Well, this SIU team has been very impressive, and congratulations on it. One of the best teams in the region. I know a lot of people are paying attention and will when Arch Madness comes to St. Louis. You'll have a contingent there, I tell you that. And when SIU is good, as they are now, that contingent even grows and grows. So I know that's going to be fun. You will play coming up next at Valparaiso. That's on Wednesday night. You're at Banterra Center on Saturday. That's a night game against Drake. And then the Bradley game, as I mentioned, January 17th, Mike Reese Appreciation Night in Carbondale. Boy, Bradley looked good yesterday. Oof. Looked good yesterday. They always dial it up this time of year, beating Missouri State. But you beat Illinois State 71-64, and it's great to catch up with you, Brian. Thank you so much for being with us.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me on, Tom.
Brian Mullins, head coach at Southern Illinois. Salukis off to a very nice start. We'll take a break. We'll come back and be joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak, on KMOX.
Attention credit card holders. If you owe at least $10,000 in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, you may qualify to have your debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. With high interest rates and credit card debt in America at all-time highs, consumer debt relief has never been available at a better time. A consumer helpline has been established by Debt Boss for you to call and see what savings you may qualify for. Call 800-355-6235. Experienced and certified debt specialists are standing by who will negotiate with your creditors to get you maximum savings and one reduced monthly payment. You don't have to take out a consolidation loan or declare bankruptcy. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. To see what savings you qualify for, simply go to debtboss.com or call the helpline now at 800-355-6235. 800-355-6235. That's 800-355-6235.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We're offering huge savings on 12 market homes at the Preserve in Afton with savings up to $80,000 and special McKelvey financing of 5.5% 30-year fixed or 4.5% in the first year with our 2-1 buydown. Choose from our carefree villas with sale price at $486,000 to our luxurious designer series on wooded estate lots. Several are ready for immediate move-in. Hurry, these deals won't last. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. At Onder Law, we know you have questions after an injury. Do I need a lawyer? What's my case worth? How long will it take? At Onder Law, our intake team will listen to your situation and get you to the right attorney. So when you have questions about a car crash, a work-related injury, or a life-changing accident, Onder Law has the team that's right for you.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's 11:34, and we thank John Mozeliak for joining us on this Sunday morning. It's great to be visited by the president of baseball operations of the Cardinals. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. 2024, we turn the calendar and a new season is upon us. It is here. Winter warm-up is this week. Getting all the guys together, is that always a nice ritual for you to get back in with the fans?
You know, I think that weekend is sometimes a little hectic because there's just so much going on. But obviously, it's a great weekend to really kick off the new year, and so certainly looking forward to it. And it is great to see a lot of the players back in town, and reconnect with them. And then before you know it, you're in Jupiter, Florida. So it's things will feel like they're moving pretty quickly now.
Before we get to the personnel and the players themselves, but as a whole, is there an extra edge, do you feel any sort of angst, embarrassment, extra motivation from this group after what happened last year?
I wouldn't say the words you used. I would say, I think a lot of players, feel like last year was a frustrating season for them and one that they're grateful they can turn the page. And, there's a lot of optimism as we move into 2024.
As you look into this team and you construct your roster, you have added a reliever. Andrew Kittredge joins this team. You traded Richie Palacios to the Rays for him. Take us into that, if you would, and the thinking behind that move.
Well, all along we've been saying we're going to keep trying to add some bullpen depth as we continue in this offseason. And so this was a deal that presented itself, and we thought it made a lot of sense. Obviously, Richie was someone we picked up last season from Cleveland. Like a lot of things he can do, but when you look at sort of our outfield depth, not sure he would have gotten a lot of playing time early on at the big league level. And adding somebody like Kittredge, who, when you go back to prior to his Tommy John, was one of the more elite relievers in the game. So, certainly trying to get him on the upswing, and hopefully he can eat some important innings for us in the bullpen.
Yeah, looking back at Kittredge, an all-star in 21, you mentioned Tommy John, and then he was pretty good last year down the stretch and appeared for them in the playoffs. What do you like about him most? Is it the swing and miss that he has? Got that sinker slider?
The thing I like most about him is throw strikes. Yeah. He's definitely in the zone. I think when you look at his comeback last year, especially the last couple of weeks, he did find that swing and miss groove again. But I think overall, we were very attracted to the fact that he keeps the ball in the ballpark, and he's in the zone.
You made that trade with the Rays, and Palacios goes to Tampa Bay for Kittredge. Is there any interest in exploring free agency still when it comes to a bullpen? Do you feel good about the bullpen, or do you want to add more?
We certainly feel good about it, but never want to speak in absolutes. We'll see what the next few weeks brings. Obviously, this week we'll still try to pay attention to what's going on in the free agent market, but exchange date for arbitration is on Thursday, so that'll probably devour a lot of our time Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's right. It is this week, the end of this week. And again, we don't talk free agent names around here. That's the policy. However, when it comes to starters, do you have that same feel that you still want to explore it when it comes to your rotation? Do you want to add depth?
It's hard because, people want to know they're going to get to start right now. And that's a hard thing to promise someone right now. So not finding like the ideal fit to really add depth at the moment, but we'll see. Things can change.
Are you concerned that if you were to lose one of them at some point that you don't have enough to fill, or do you feel confident that if something happened like last year where one or two members of your rotation went down, that you'd be able to supplement it?
I think so. Obviously we're going to go into camp with guys like Thompson and Liberatore competing for starter innings, but the way we're lined up right now, it would seem like most likely they're going to have to probably pitch out of the pen. But as you say, things can happen. So I think we're going to have to just wait and see how some of these things play out.
When you look at Palacios, you mentioned the logjam in the outfield. That tells me you feel pretty good about the health of Tommy Edman, who it was revealed had arthroscopic surgery on his wrist. That was back in October, so the timeline would be pretty good on that.
Yeah, I'm very confident he'll be fine, having a good rehab. So not at all concerned. And, Dylan Carlson is also someone that's going to be looking for at-bats as well. So, when you look at where like Palacio fits in, he gave us some protection when all those guys were injured. But, as you look to the start of this year, he was likely probably going to start for us in Memphis.
What about that? And going back to some of the depth there, the trades that you made last season at the deadline, Montgomery, et cetera, do you think any of those can emerge? How close are some of those to breaking through?
Well, I think like Robert and Roby are guys that are going to be, knocking on the door at some point at the big leagues this year. But you got to remind yourself they're young, but they're definitely talented. And somebody like a Sagasi, I think, is going to open up some eyes at big league camp, can really swing the bat. but having a open spot for him right now would be difficult.
Right, unless there was some injury that opened up an opportunity. Of course, you don't want that to happen, but you feel pretty good still about Brendan Donovan tracking well to make spring training?
Oh, yeah, very bullish on him and working hard down in Jupiter. So, yeah, excited to see what he can do this year.
This Cardinals outfit also, just to stay in the infield, I'm going to be rolling down to Memphis on the Caravan with Mason Wynn, and I know that he will be an attraction down there. He's not been handed the shortstop position necessarily, but he will have every opportunity to earn that, will he not?
Yeah, exactly. He'll get the doors open for him to take it. Part of the way our season ended last year, it allowed us to give him the opportunity to taste the big leagues and see what it was like. And so hopefully he can use that as part of his learning curve. And big things are expected of him. Don't want to put too much pressure on a young player, but uber talented, and looking forward to seeing how he prepares this offseason for the upcoming year.
And I'm also heading down there with Fermin, and pitchers Thompson and Graceffo will be back with me on the Caravan. Thompson, we just talked about. Graceffo he had such a terrific 22 going into that season. There were some very high hopes for him. How did 23 work for him, and where do you feel he lands right now?
He definitely has a big arm. I think he's got to learn to be more consistent if he's going to try to stay as a starter. If not, I think he has a lot of upside in the bullpen. But Graceffo is he's a big-bodied guy. You can understand why you would think he'd be a starter. But when you look at his 2023, he might have a dominating 2 or 3 innings and then all of a sudden stumble a little bit. And, at the big league level, you got to be able to be counted on and be more consistent. So if he can figure that out, I think he has a bright future as a starter. If not, I think still has a lot of talent and could end up in the bullpen.
I appreciate the time with us here on KMOX. We could go forever, of course, with John Mozeliak, but we appreciate the time that we have, and we will see you at the ballpark this weekend. We look forward to it.
That sounds great. Thanks, Tommy.
John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, with a little primer for the warm-up and this offseason, which continues. He won't close the door on bullpen or rotation just yet, although it did sound a little bit like he's a little more locked into the 5 starters, maybe, that some reports would let on that the Cardinals were still looking around, but we'll see. I mean, that's always a possibility. He did not shut the door completely. It's 11:43. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX. We will, by the way, have this show from the winter warm-up the following Sunday. We will also have on Saturday a full 4 hours with Matt Pauley from the winter warm-up. I will have 10 to 12 from the warm-up, Drew. So I'll be over there. We'll go all Cardinals on that one. We'll still have Travis Ford and what the Billikens did in their Billiken report at 10:30. And then Joe Pott's going to follow. And then I'm coming back on Monday with Chris Ranji. We're going to go 10 to 1 over there. And we're going to I'll have Ollie up on stage at the warm-up on Monday at 12:30. And to that end, so Saturday is the warm-up. Sunday is the warm-up. Sunday night's the baseball writers' dinner, and there's still some seats available for that. Adam Wainwright, Tony La Russa, Wilson Contreras, among those being honored that night at the Missouri Athletic Club. That is a fun night. Really, really good. John Rooney's the MC of that one. But then, you've heard this promoted a couple of times, and before we take a break, I just wanted to hammer home the point that Ollie Marmol, that dinner with him on the 18th, is really partly his idea. I got together with him at the end of the season. We were sitting in his office, and I don't think he would mind me sharing this story, but he said, I would like to sit down with you, or just with the fans, but with you, and answer all their questions, and we talked about doing it on this show, and maybe we will do that starting next season. But it was him. He wanted to sit in a setting with fans, and he knows that they're going to be tough questions. He knows that he has a lot of things to answer, but he has answers, and he wants to talk about it, and he wants to get together with the fans. And so we're going to do it on January 18th at Tapawingo. It's a dinner. It's $75 a person for a beef tenderloin dinner and 2 complimentary drinks, which I think is quite reasonable, quite honestly. And tickets are going fast for this. So go to KMOX.com/events. If you want to talk some ball, he's not going to hold back. I'll answer him some questions. I'll ask him some questions. Then he will open it up to the group for the follow-ups and any questions that the fans have right there at Tapawingo. It's not going to be broadcast. It's not going to be recorded. This is just for the room. He'll tell a few stories, but I think most importantly, he'll do some explaining why he thinks about in certain scenarios, what he thinks about bullpen moves, what he thinks about his players. Maybe he gets into the Contreras thing a little bit. I don't know if if we need to go down the O'Neill road, but maybe, he's not here anymore, but maybe he wants to talk about that a little bit. It's okay. He's the manager. He wants to do it. The managers, for the most part, have done a nice job of that. Tony La Russa took calls. Mike Matheny did a dinner at Annie Gunn's where he would answer some questions. It was a charity event that he did. Mike Schultz always been very good about answering. But this is a unique opportunity, I think, to have Ollie Marmol in a dinner setting with just us, just me, him, and you, the fans, to hang out and talk some ball. So that'll be KMOX.com/events. I looked and saw that tickets are moving for that. So grab that while you can. We're still about 2 weeks away from that. We'll take a break. Chris Roseman, St. Louis Sports Commission, is next.
I hate winter, but as a kid, I used to love it snowing. And my dog, when it snows, he's just like me being a little Hoosier. When it snows, we wake up and we would just run outside. We didn't care what we had on and just run around and build snowmen and roll around in the snow. He does the exact same thing. He can't build snowmen. He wants to do snow angels. But if you can picture this, he's a big German Shepherd, all right? He's good size. But he's got little legs and little arms. He doesn't know he's a dog, but he wants to make snow angels, so he tries his best. And he just ends up just rolling around in circles for the longest time. You got to love it. But that being said, keep the calls coming. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. And BartInman.com. That is a B for Bart. Otherwise, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Says here that Graybar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Graybar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Graybar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Graybar does that.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week, use public transportation like buses or trains, combine errands to make fewer trips, and take a walk for any distances of a mile or less. And think about an electric car when looking for your next vehicle. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Happy holidays, St. Louis. It's your Congresswoman, Cori Bush, here to wish you a safe and joyful holiday season. Our office has proudly helped thousands of constituents over the years, and we are ready to help thousands more. We can assist you with Social Security and Medicare, tax refunds, passports, veterans benefits, small business loans, immigration, and more. Visit our website at bush.house.gov or call our office at 314-955-9980.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Good to visit with John Mozeliak, as well as Travis Ford, Doug Armstrong, Brian Mullins. We've had a good show today. A lot of good stuff. Thank you for listening to Sports on a Sunday morning, each and every Sunday. And even if you don't, even if it's just, every so often, I mean, we hope we are entertaining you with some good stuff. A little sports discussion with Chris Roseman now. He's with the St. Louis Sports Commission. He joins us on KMOX. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Tom. I hope your 2024 is off to a strong start, and Happy New Year.
It was off to a great start. I got the 7th grade girls rolling. We won a couple of games yesterday, and the basketball team takes the hardwood again this afternoon. So coach is getting primed. Yeah, I'm getting ready.
That's the best story of the day right there.
I know. We got to figure a way to attack the zone more efficiently, though. I got to talk to a few people about that. I got to consult attacking the 2-3 and the 1-3-1. We need to get some open looks. I
can't help you with that. My sport is soccer, so
I know.
I want to talk about the wing backs out of the back. Let me know.
I know it is. What a year it was for St. Louis, huh? I mean, you go top of the list, it's got to be City, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! I mean, who gets that kind of start? I mean, City just set the world on fire. Coming out of the box with winning their division and getting to the playoffs and selling every game, and not only what those games do, but all the other activities that new venue attracts to St. Louis and fills hotel rooms and provides a vibrant downtown St. Louis. What a great story for that group, and just so proud of them.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a fun year, and to see all of that develop. I've had a lot of people on the show today. We had Doug Armstrong talking about the World Juniors. A little bummed that they're not coming to St. Louis in 2026. I feel like Minneapolis, look, I know you're going to respect everybody, and that's fine, but Minneapolis is kind of like, you can always go to Minneapolis. I mean, why not let St. Louis show off a little bit? Like, we get it. Minneapolis, a hockey town. I understand. But St. Louis on the rise like they are, why not let us show off a little bit? Did we not blow the doors off with the Winter Classic? I mean, do we not know hockey around here? I don't know. It's just me.
We always blow the doors off. When it comes to hockey, what it comes down to is these multinational team events, they're hard to secure. We don't get too many of them. 1904, the Olympics that we had here in St. Louis was one of the high profile ones we had, but to get those events, that event is just, it's a monster. It's, such a great event, international event, 10 countries, that come in. Their game days are December 26th to January 5th, but they're in a week, 10 days before practicing, having scrimmages and things like that. So the economic impact of that event, over $70 million is huge. The international exposure, it's filling your hotel rooms, it's filling your restaurants. It's, the attractions will be full. Everyone's going to go to Anheuser-Busch to see the lights and take the Polar Express and things while they're here. And, they're just, the competition for these events is huge. And, St. Louis, led by the Blues, let's start there, led by the Blues and Chris Zimmerman and his incredible crew over there. And you have to have Enterprise Center, and they spent the money that had to happen back, 5-6 years ago to make the necessary upgrades to make that an attractive building for these international events to come to. And then, they go out and build the Centene Community Ice Center. So, we have the foundation. We've got, we've got the bricks and mortar, if you will, to make that go, and the people that make it go as well. What's really cool about that whole process is how the process galvanizes our region. We all know how many, we have 89 communities or 88 communities, and the St. Louis City and the county and things like that. But gosh, sports really does, galvanize our region. People come together. The USA Hockey was here for 2.5 days back in August, and everyone came out. You pick up the phone and you say, hey, can you take time to meet USA Hockey while they're here? Yep, I'm there. Just let me know when and where. So, that was an incredible tour that we had that stretched from St. Charles to the Metro East, as far as representatives from the private sector, from the public sector, from our professional sports family, the Blues, Cardinals, City, and Worldwide Technology, Raceway. They were all there, and we put together a good front. And when it all came down to it, it just wasn't quite enough to make them come to St. Louis.
Well, I know you have college hockey and college basketball to look forward to, don't you?
We got a busy March. We got, we always at the Missouri Valley Conference at Scott Trade Center. Scott Trade Center, I'm aging myself. It's Enterprise.
That's all right. I still call it Riverport. It's fine.
Is in March, and then we've got the ACHAs. ACHA, no, it's on ESPN, but it's a huge economic impact over the 10, 11 days that they're in town playing hockey at Centene Community Ice Center and at the Maryville Ice Center. And then we got the regionals. So the regionals again coming back. This is not coming back, but they're going to come in St. Louis. They're going to be a Centene intimate venue. 3,000 seats. It's going to sell out. It's going to be incredible. You got college hockey coming back, and that leads to the Frozen Four next year in 2025, and then continuing on that NCAA vein, you got 2026. We've got NCAA basketball coming back first, second rounds.
Ooh, that's huge. That is huge. Arch Madness, of course, the first weekend of March. Can't wait for all of that to go down here in St. Louis. And when we have more time, I want to get into how, and we had a lot of discussion on it on KMOX already, but the wrestling at Stiefel, if anybody missed that, and I did, I really, really wish I could have gone to that. What a great addition to Bragging Rights. That's fun. So we'll get into that another time, Chris.
Got it.
Really, thank you for the time very much. Thanks for being with us on KMOX and all that you do for the St. Louis Sports Commission.
Well, Happy New Year to you and your listeners at KMOX Nation, and have a great week.
Great to visit with Chris Roseman and the St. Louis Sports Commission. Well, folks, that's our show. Great to be along with you on KMOX as always. We have Chiefs and Chargers on the way at 3:25.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week. Use public transportation like buses or trains. Combine errands to make fewer trips. And take